The recent realization that I'm an empath has made some really big changes in how I approach my life. It really has. And I've learned some things that work really well for me, and I learned some things that don't. After this weekend of being alone, the entire weekend by myself for several days, I've learned something really big about myself. And I've learned something about other people too. Hi, I'm Scott. Thank you so much for joining me today on 45 RPM. I'm so glad that you could spend some time with me. I am an empath, and I have learned that about myself. And, that brings along several different things, and some of those which I will address in this video. But one of the things that I really dealt with this week are other people, the way I deal with and the way I approach other people. Mean people, just people that are just acting badly, sucky attitudes and bad attitudes towards other people. I was on Facebook the other day, and this guy is pouring his heart out in a Christian Facebook page. Someone goes under it and comments and points out every single thing that he did where his grammar was wrong. I mean, what's the point in being a complete jerk? Mean people suck. Now, I'm not trying to be crude by saying that. I'm being honest. Sometimes I deal with mean people and they suck the energy and the life out of me. They don't allow me to minister fully and to love and care for people that God has put in my place to do so with the way I should. Because I'm so drained and I'm so pulled down by all of the other stuff. We deal with a lot of those kind of people. I've been blocked this past week by someone whenever I gave them advice. They didn't like the advice that I gave. Don't ask me. I'll go ahead and make a public service announcement. Don't ask me for my advice if you don't want to hear what I truly feel. I'm not going to lie to you to make you feel better. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to give you my honest advice in love, and I'm going to tell you in a loving and kind way what I feel like the answer is to your question. I just am. And if that makes you mad and you block me, then that's what happened this week, okay? We had a guy on Facebook that this guy was on YouTube. He named himself after the Bible. He spent all week sending message after message after message to Pastor Bob and all of us about using scripture. He would pull scripture out and he would twist it and make it. It was just the most bizarre thing you've ever seen. Mean people suck. They just do. I don't understand why people have to act the way they do. And I've learned that I don't just listen to what people say. I read the energy of people. I read their atmosphere. I take more than what they're telling me, because I've dealt with people this week that are saying one thing and are acting one way, but they're doing something completely different. And the two don't match. But I've dealt with some really cool people too. I've had people that have asked me questions that wanted advice, and I gave it, and they needed it. They accepted it. I love ministering to people. I love spending time with people and being able to speak into people's lives. But there comes a point in time when what I'm doing is not effective because I'm so spent. Reading about Jesus pulling away from people on a particularly bad day, and you can go and read about it. Go watch Chris's podcast, and you'll learn about that. It's true. It's true. Solitude is not being alone. Solitude is a purposeful, focused pulling away so that we can be still and know that He is God. Psalm 46:10. Be still. Why do I have that? Because it is something I tell myself all the time. I have to stop, be still, and know that He is God. I love it when people come to me for advice. I love it when people want to talk to me. I love it when people message me. I love it when people comment. I love it whenever I'm able to minister to people. But I can get so busy with ministry, I can get so busy ministering to people that I find myself worn so thin that I begin to notice things. I begin to notice, first of all, in the way that I drive. I was noticing by Friday, I was just driving like a madman. I get behind the wheel and I crank up the car, and suddenly it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's like my skull splits open. And it's like, you know, I notice that whenever I'm particularly weak and tired, I take it out in my driving. I do. I also take it out on my family. I take it out with how I treat my wife. I take it out the way I treat my kids, the way I treat my dog. If I'm weak, if I'm tired, I don't treat them with the love and the care and the beauty of the relationship is not there anymore because I'm just weak and tired and I'm spent. Another way that I see this manifest in my life is in my sleep patterns. I don't sleep, you know. Well, I sleep. Sure, I sleep. But I flip and flop and turn and I dream. I have crazy nightmares. I'm making lists. I'm writing podcasts. I'm doing all these things in my sleep instead of getting good rest because there's so much going on. My mind does not want to stop. It just doesn't. My eye twitches. You ever had an eye twitch? My eye will twitch. I'll get that. And I can't make it quit. I can't make it quit. It's particularly stressful ways that this comes out in my own personal life. But you know, one of the ways that I see it more than any other way, in the music that I listen to. I notice it. I start gravitating toward darker music. I start gravitating toward music of people that are in pain and are really aggressive music, which I love heavy music. And it's not about how heavy it is. I'm talking about messages in the music. And that's when I know that it's time for me to find solitude. So after speaking with Chris and after watching their podcast, which you need to go watch, I spent some time pulled back and I just spent some time listening to God. And I don't mean 5 minutes. I spent a long time just listening to God. Just listening. And I spoke too, but the bulk of what I did was listen. I was still so that I can know that He is God. I want to say thank you to a couple of people. First of all, I want to say thank you to Chris Dorman and Don Waite and that podcast and for speaking to me, talking to me about it and speaking into my life and pointing out that I'm just spent and I need to pull away and spend some time in solitude. Thank you for that. I want to say thank you to the Sanctuary guys for allowing me the opportunity of joining up with you, being a part of what you're doing and being able to speak into the lives of others. And I want to say thank you to you for giving me the opportunity to minister to you. I love it. I love it. And I'm thankful that most of you are not mean people. Most of you don't suck. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for it. And I want to say that I'm sorry that I allow the people that are mean to suck the energy out of my life to get me to the point that I'm not able to effectively minister to you the way I should because I'm so busy trying to figure out what to do with these people and I'm not paying enough attention to you guys. You know, we all have a job. My job and your job as believers is to go out and to give them heaven, right? So that's what we need to do. And sometimes going out and giving them heaven means I need to stop and allow heaven to speak to me.